Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class on simplex method. And this is our session 2 on simplex method. Yesterday, we gave a brief idea about how simplex method problems can be solved by iteration table. So, or we can call it by algebraic method. So, we solve the problem by algebraic or iteration table method. Okay, so we did one problem yesterday and we'll do one more problem today. So here you can see this, the function is maxima. So in order to work on the simplex method, your objective function should always be minima. Sorry, your objective function is maxima. In case if your objective function is minima, so we'll convert into maxima by changing the sign of the coefficient. Okay, we'll do some question to make you understand that. So whenever you are solving a simplex method, you need to make sure that your objective function should always be maxima. Okay, so we cannot solve a simplex method problem on minimum objective. Okay, so whenever we are solving a simplex, we need to make sure that our objective is always maxima. Okay, and the constraint what we have is always less than or equal to. So in case if we have greater than constraint, then the same problem will be solved by another method. The same problem will be solved by using a big M method. So that will be approach. Okay, any doubt anyone? So I believe you understood. So we learned here two variables are there. So we can easily solve this two variable equation by using graphical method also. Because for graphical method we cannot solve if we have more than two variables. So here we have two variables. So we can solve this problem either by graphical method, or we can solve this problem either by simplex method, or we can solve this problem by using MS Excel solver function. So MS Excel solver function, I don't want to teach you more because again, it's not gonna be useful for the exam purpose. So I hope you understood this equation. Whenever we have this LPP equation with us, okay, so if you want to solve this LPP equation, first thing what I'll do, I'll look into the constraint. I have two constraints. So what I will do, if I have two constraints, I'll introduce two slack variable. So introducing two slack variables, introducing two slack variables s1, introducing two slack variable s1 and s2. What is the purpose of introducing this slack variable? So that I can make the constraint as an equal to sign. Constraint having equal to sign. I introduce two slack variable s1 and s2. So my objective function will be maximum of z is equal to 3x1 plus 2x2 plus 0 s1 plus 0 s2. So fine, this is my objective function. Then constraint, when I look into the constraint, subject to constraint, I'll write x1 plus x2 plus s1 4 and x1 minus x2 plus s2 equal to 2, where x1, x2, s1, s2, they should be greater than or equal to 0. So this I'll write here. I'm trying to remove the constraint which is having less than or equal to sign with equal to sign. So I'm introducing this slack variables. Okay, so this slack variable s1 and s2 which are greater than equal to 0. Okay, so these slack variables I want to make sure they should not impact the overall objective function. So I put them the coefficient 0 in the objective function. And s1 will be equal to 0 if x1 plus x2 is equal to 4. This s1 would be equal to 4 minus x1 plus x2 in case if x1 and x2 is less than 4. So ultimately, the overall objective is that the LHS part of the equation should be equal to RHS equation. That is what I'm trying to do. Clear everyone? Anyone, any objective to understand any problem? Clear everyone? Now I can write the data which I wrote in the algebraic form. So the given data I can write also write in matrix form. Okay, so the objective this way now this way of representing the data, this is called standard form data. Using two slack variable S1 and S2 to make the problem in standard form, to make the problem in standard form, to make the problem look like in standard form, to make the problem in standard form, standard algebraic form. This was your equation. With this equation, I introduced two slack variable S1 and S2. Okay, to somehow make the constraint having equal to sign. This I did. Clear everyone? Once you're done with this, now what I'll do, I can write this in matrix form. Now writing, writing the given problem, writing the given problem matrix form, writing the given problem matrix form. If I write the given problem in matrix form, so how will I write this? I'll write x1, then s1, then s2. Okay, then into multiplication of matrix. I hope you still remember x1, s1, s2. This is equal to 2. Now this, simply write down the coefficients. Coefficient 1, 1, 1, 0, 1 minus 1, 0. Clear everyone? So once we are done, we have wrote the simple problem in the form of standard form, then in the form of matrix form. Then what I'll do, let's start solving it without spending much time. So this is our problem. This is our problem. Draw the iteration table x1, x2, s1, s2. Draw the iteration table. We'll always start with the slack variable 0, 0. Okay, just write down the coefficients here. 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Then 1 minus 1, 0, 1. 1 minus 1, 0, 1. And your RHS is 4 and 2. Your RHS is 4 and 2. RHS is 4 and 2. Write it here, your theta. Write down the coefficients of objective function. Write down the object coefficient of objective function. 3200, 3200. This is called CI. Once we're done with this, now I will find Zi. Now first thing what we'll do, we'll find Zi. How will we find the Zi, guys? So 0 into 1 plus 0 into 1. So like that way we find Zi. Zi, Zi. So this will always be 0. The first time when you do, you'll get Zi always 0. Why? Because 0 into 1 plus 0 into 1, then 0 into 1 plus 0 into minus 1. So 0 multiply with any number will be 0, and 0 plus 0 will be 0. So the first time when we do the calculation of Zi, it is always 0, because we always start with dummy variables. Dummy variable having 0 coefficient. So the Zi value is always equal to 0. So if you find Ci minus Zi, if you find Ci minus Zi, that is 3200. So out of all Ci minus Zi, find that Ci minus Zi, which is the maximum. So the maximum value of Ci minus Zi means 3. 3 means x1. It means x1 now enter into the solution. If x1 will enter into the solution, it will either replace s1 or either replace s2. To find that, we'll find the theta. 4 divided by 1 and 2 divided by 1. The theta value what we get is 2. 2 is the minimum, no? Out of 4 and 2, 2 is minimum. Means S2 will replace, and S2 will be replaced by X1. Clear everyone? Anyone have any doubt? So out of all Ci minus Zi, the maximum one is belong to X1. So means X1 is going to enter into the solution and it will replace the S2. So in here I can write S1, S1 having 0 coefficient, X1 having the coefficient 3. You can see this one is called pivot element, and here this one will be called a second pivot element for the row S1. So whatever is your pivot element, divide all the element of your row by that pivot element. So one is your pivot element, so there will not be any change. Any number divided by one will remain one only. 1 minus 1 0 1 and then 2. To find the value of x1, how we find the value of x1? We divide all the elements of the row S2 by the pivot element. Clear everyone? Now I'll find the new values of S1. How will I find the new values of S1? So to find the new value of S1, first I'll write the old element S1 old value, that is 1 minus 1 0 1 and 2. So the old element of S1, that is 1 1 1 0 4. Okay. Now new element means x1 what you got, that values, that we call a new element. 1 minus 1 1 minus 1 1 minus 1 0 1 2. Okay. What we use a formula called old element minus constant into new element. Okay, and that will give you the new values of S1. Okay, so we'll write 1 minus 1 0 1 minus minus 1, this is 2, this will be 0 1 1 minus 0 into anything will be 1 only, this is minus 1, this is 4 minus 2 2. The constant here is 1 pivot element. Clear everyone? Anyone having any doubt? Done everyone? 0 2 0 2 0 2 1 minus 1 1 minus 1 0 2 1 minus 1 and 2. Okay, once you get this, now what you find zi. Zi value is 0 into 0 plus 3 into 1, you get 3, then 0 into 2, then 3 into minus 1, this would be minus 3, then this would be 0 0 into 1 plus 3 into 0, next one 0 into minus 1 plus 3 into 1, this would be 3, then you'll find ci minus zi, so this would be 3 minus 3 0, then 2 minus minus 3, this would be 5, then 0 minus 0, this is minus 3. Here find ci, right? Ci values were 3 2 0 0. The coefficient of the objective function is called as ci values. Clear everyone? This would be 6 0 into 2 plus 3 into 2. Once you get ci minus zi, out of all ci minus zi, the maximum is 5. That means now x2 will enter into the solution. It means now x2 will enter into the solution. If x2 will enter into the solution, it will either replace s1 or x1. So for that you can find theta. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and any number divided by minus 1 is not defined. Leave that. So means the this means this is your pivot element. 2 is your pivot element. Means x2 is gonna here x2 is gonna replace s1. Negative values of theta we do not consider. Done everyone? Anyone any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? See the steps, guys. Clear, everyone? So once once you realize that now x2 is going to enter into the solution, is going to replace s1. So now the constant, what you can see, the constant here is, here the constant here pivot element is 2. So s1 is going to replace by x2. The coefficient of x2 is 2. The coefficient of x1 is 3. So now what you do, the pivot element is 2, so divide all the element by 2. So 0, then 2 divided by 2, 1, 1 divided by 2, 1 by 2, minus divided by 2, minus 1 by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Clear, everyone? So you just need for how to find the values of x2. So s1 is being replaced by x2. What you need to do, you just need to figure out the point of intersection between s1, the s1 and x2, which is called pivot element. So that element, divide all the elements of your row by that element. Once we're done with this value is what we get. We call something like a new element value. Simply I've given them name. So now what I can do, I can find the values of x1. To find the values of x1, I have to write its old values. 1, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, and the new elements value would be the values of x2, what you got, that is 0, 1, 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2, and 1. Here, and the constant for this row, if you see the constant for this row, the constant is minus 1. You can see the constant for this row, that is minus 1. So you can apply the formula old element minus minus 1 new element. I can use a formula old element plus new element. So this is 1 1 plus 0 is 1, minus 1 plus 1, that is 0. This is 1 by 2, 0 plus 1 by 2. This is minus 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 1 minus 1 by 2. This would be 1 by 2. And 2 minus 2 plus 1. That would be equal to 3. Done, everyone? So this value would be 1. The values of x1 would be 1, 0, 1 by 2, then again 1 by 2, and then 3. Clear, everyone? Now once you get this value, find the zi value. Find the zi value. 2 into 0 plus 3 into 1. What you will get? You will get 3. Then 2 into 1. Then 2 into 1 plus 3 into 0. So this would be equal to 2. Then 2 into 1 by 2 plus 3 into 1 by 2. So this will be 5 by 2. Clear everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Once you get the zi value, okay, you just need to find the value 3 by 2 minus 2 by 2. What you will get? 3 by 2 minus 2 by 2, you will get 1 by 2. This is 9 plus 2, 11. Anyone, any doubt? Once you find the zi value, once you find the zi value, what you can do, you can find ci minus zi value. The ci value corresponding was, because in case now you can't see that, so I'm writing it here. The ci value is 3200. Ci minus zi if I find, so that is minus 3 minus 2 minus 5 by 2 minus 1 by 2. So once you get this value, you can understand ci minus zi are 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 either 0 or negative, means we get the optimal solution. It means we get our optimal solution. So our optimal solution is x2 is equal to 1, x1 equal to 3, and the maximum value of z is equal to 11. This is your final answer. Clear everyone? Anyone, any step, any doubt? So guys, I believe that you have understood everything what we have done in this session. So it's time to say goodbye to all of you. So we'll meet very soon for the next session, and we'll do new problems related to simplex and graphical method on NPP. So if you have any doubt, feel free to come up with your doubts. So use comment or chat option to come up with your doubts and ask your question there. So I'll always there to helpful for you. So I hope you have understood what all we have done in this class. In case if you have understood everything, then it's time to say goodbye to all of you. Thank you everyone. I'll see you all to take care. Bye everyone.